What's up guys, TopTierYugioh here, and as most of you guys know, for all of last format, I played Infernoids. I played them from the first day Raging Tempest came out, all the way until my last event of the format. I played like 6 or 7 events, topped multiple regionals, had a great format. But now as we head into Maximum Crisis format, I need to start thinking about what deck I'm going to play and whether I'm going to still play Infernoids. And so I've done a lot of testing and I want to share these results with you. So today I have a couple of duels against True King Dinosaurs. It's one of the top 3 decks of this Maximum Crisis format. And so I think it's important to sort of look at the matchup, but also look at how Infernoids fare against the meta in general. So I'm going to show you guys these matches, and then at the end we're going to analyze these matches, and then talk about how good Infernoids might be for this format. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Don't forget to click that like button, and if you're ever interested in the deck profile at any point in this video, that will be in both the top right corner of the screen and in the description. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
I'll sing to
So that was a couple of matches against True King Dinosaurs. I think the biggest takeaway from this entire format is the prevalence of hand traps, and the biggest one being Ghost Dash. And so Infernoids have a few different win conditions depending on the deck, but if you're playing the 40 card build, then Void Feast and Vanishment are pretty much your win condition. If you're playing a 60 card variant, then Lawn Mowing is your win condition. And now the sad thing about this format is that Ghost Dash negates both of them. And so the fact that your win condition can be negated by a hand trap is a little alarming, but there are certain ways to play around it. Some of those being like you can summon a Decatron first and Devyaty, and that way you can negate monster effects, i.e. Ghost Dash. Now another thing that I've seen a lot of people play is Psyframe Lord Gamma, not Psyframe Lord, but Psyframe Gamma and Driver, and that allows you to negate monster effects if you have no monsters. So that's another way that you can negate the Ghost Dash. So there are a few ways to play around it, but even though you can play around it, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's okay. And if it were just Ghost Dash that was the problem, I think it could be played around. But the bigger problem is just the competition, really, in my opinion. So if you look at some of the boards that these decks can make, like VFD plus whatever, like Lagia VFD, both of those are such big problems because Lagia can negate inherent summons. So you can like banish 3 Infernoids for a Devyaty or something, and then they're just going to negate the summon. So that's really tough to play around sometimes because it's essentially like Solemn Strike. For VFD, there's just like no way around it. So first it has so much attack, but then even if you summon your Infernoids, they can't attack. So it's just really hard to get over. And I guess ultimately the biggest problem with this is that it costs so many resources to keep summoning your Infernoids, but if they don't do anything, then you're just going to run out of resources and lose the game. Another big playmaker in this matchup was Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, because the quick effect that it has is extremely disruptive, because again, it takes so many resources to summon an Infernoid monster. If you're not going to be able to use the effect of like a Harmonic or a Decatron, then you're really losing a lot of resources. So pretty much your only out to it's going to be summoning Onuncu, which requires 3, so they can beat you in the resource game pretty easily like that, because a good Dino player is going to know that you only have certain outs, and all of those outs take so many resources. Now there are a few good things about this matchup, like if you can summon some Infernoid monsters, the ability to banish cards from your opponent's graveyard like Miscellaneousaurus, and then other dinosaurs to prevent the summon of Tyranno, then the matchup becomes a little bit easier if you play like that. And I think a lot of it really comes down to who can build their board first. And because we do have cards like the Zoodiac engine, we do have Feast, Vanishment, cards that can just set our engine up so easily with just a single card, versus the dinosaur deck being more of a combo based deck. That allows us to build our boards first a lot of the time, and then again, whoever can build their board first generally had a really solid chance at winning the game outside of a Tyranno summon, because that can just clear boards for free. But that's pretty much it for the True King Dino matchup. But in regards to the other decks this format, Zoodiacs are pretty much the same. Like, it's the same type of deck you're playing against, and the same ways to play against Zoodiacs still apply. But the new kid on the block is True Dracos, and that deck is really hard to play around because Masterpiece, like there are no outs to Masterpiece. So like in this entire main deck, there's not a single out to Masterpiece outside of like negating the summon with the warning. And so if by some chance they forget to make it immune to monster effects, we can out it. Or maybe if they make it not immune to spell cards, you can out it with like a Raigeki. But for the most part, it's really hard to beat over. I think the only options are to attack over it if they don't have a diagram. So you could pop the diagram and summon like an Onuncu and attack over it. Or maybe a Tierra, but that's just really unlikely. But still, that's if they don't have a diagram, and they're going to play 6 diagrams. So they're very likely to have a diagram, and even if they don't, you have to have multiple ways to attack over it, because one of them is going to be used to pop the first threat. And so if you think the True King Dino matchup is hard, the True Draco matchup is a lot harder. So if I had to sort of rank the matchups, I would say Zoodiacs are the best matchup. It's not really a good matchup, but it's the best one. It's sort of like average, I'd say. But then True King Dinos, because that can sort of be played around. But then True Dracos are the hardest matchup because outing Masterpiece is really, really difficult. And in some games, there just aren't a way to out it. But that's for this build in particular. I would say that playing the lawn mowing build, you have a much higher chance because you can play the Kaijus. So you can mill Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and that's going to allow you to search a Kaiju. And then you can out the Masterpiece that way. And so moving in the Maximum Crisis format, I think I would probably play the lawn mowing build, because it gives you an out the Masterpiece. But then at the same time, I think that does make your deck a little bit worse in other ways, because if they have the Ghost Dash for your lawn mowing, then you lose. Because without lawn mowing, your deck is just inherently worse than it would be with 40 cards. So I think it's sort of like a rock, paper, scissors type thing, to where playing 60 cards is beneficial because you can play Interrupted Kaiju Slumber against True Dracos, but it makes you worse against everything else. But nonetheless, let me know what you think about the Infernoid matchup moving into the next format. But nonetheless, let me know how you think Infernoids will be in the next format. There's going to be a poll in the top right corner of the screen. But do you think Infernoids can still survive despite Ghost Dash, despite True Dracos, True King Dinos, and strengthened and empowered Zoodiacs now that Laika is out? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.